mean, I think somehow along the way, Beverly Hills became like the crown jewel. It's not really where it started, but we really are like 16 years into it watching semi-regular slash regular people, and it's just not as fun. I totally agree. There is still something, Beverly Hills, I think, is like the cream of the crop these days.
Hmm.
And that's so good to hear because that's the one I've watched. So
It's the best one.
this is I yeah, this is the most recent one I watched and I had so much fun. I see why you get so hooked on this. It is fantastic.
I mean, how do you guys feel? We're filming the new season now. Like, how do you feel about Lisa Rinna being gone?
I'm personally devastated. I stan Rinna. I don't care that she's the biggest bully in Hollywood and everyone knows it. I love her so much. I've loved her since my mom raised me on Days of Our Lives. And it's sad to see her go, but I'm certain she'll come back because she was
I
great at
hope
it.
so. I
She was a
feel
really good
like
housewife.
I feel like she's such an institution. Like
Yeah,
it's strange to think of it without her and without her stirring things. It's like who's going to be there's no one else like her. And it's like who's going to step up? Like do you think one of the other housewives are going to like step up and be the new Rinna? But it feels like those are big shoes to fill.
They're big shoes to fill. I mean, listen, Melrose Place, Taylor McBride. I mean, like Rinna was my thing. I'm kind of a big Rinna person too. Look, I
good.
think like if a Kyle Richards stepped up, the audience would go crazy. Like but she's the problem is everybody wants to be liked. That's the
Hmm.
problem. And I think
But Rinna never cared about being liked, really. And
Yeah,
that's
you
what made
gotta
me like
love
her.
that.
never. I mean, listen, she's called out Sutton and Garcelle and said, girls, you're going to have to work this season. I don't know. Like they're filming like now with Camille and Denise. Like they're in there.
Ugh,
They're not back. I think they're doing like Game of Thrones to see like, let's
they're
just bring these
testing.
people back to see what happens. And,
Yeah.
did
I'm
you
not mad about either of those two. I saw this
and
in my group chat
Kim
yesterday.
Richards too?
No, that makes it sad again. Kim has too much to lose. You know what I mean?
I
Mm,
do. Listen,
Ugh.
Camille, I think Camille there's your villain. Camille could be the villain
Camille's
that
so good
we've
at the villain. She has the
I could
face
see
for it.
that. Yeah.
she has the face for it. Who like, there's a rumored newbie as well. It's like Marcellus Wiley's wife. I mean, I'm a
Oh,
gay
I don't know
man
who
as
that is.
well. That's because we're three gay men here, not to stereotype, but he is an NFL quarterback or lines. It's something in the NFL. I have no idea,
Uh-huh.
but this is his wife, and she's the rumored to be. She's an anesthesiologist. We love anesthesiologists
Ooh.
apparently, and
Ooh.
so there
Is it
might be.
Ada Field? Is that her name?
No, but her name was
Oh.
it's something Wiley. It's Anne Marie Wiley, Wiley. But that Ada
Mm.
Field, that name was kicking around too. I say just go with like Denise Richards, go with Camille, and just call it a day, right?
Listen, I'm actually not mad if it is Anna Marie because we need more color on Beverly Hills for sure. Garcelle can't be doing all this heavy lifting, talking about race topics by herself. She shouldn't have to. These women should kind of educate themselves and not put that on Garcelle. So yeah, let's get more color. And she's so stunning.
I
And
think
then we get
it
to see her husband too. I'm not mad. I hope this is true.
let's just put it
Mm.
out there. And Cynthia Bailey apparently is going to events, and I don't know if that means anything, but listen,
That would be a crossover for the ages.
that would be a crossover for the ages. What
Oh.
do you think of Housewives, Michael, now that you're kind of new to it and you've
No,
like, do
that
you
I'm coming out from the rock that I live under. It's it's so much fun. So I watched Housewives of Atlanta a long time ago. Because a roommate I had forever ago is from there and he knew some of them. I think it was season two. And that's when like Nene Leakes and Kim were like at the height of their like them. And it was
Mhm.
that was the like you're a low down monkey with a wig on and close your legs to married
Oh,
men, all of that. It was I loved it. What she said to Kim.
Mhm.
It was just like I was just like, oh wow. But then it sort of got away from me for a bit. And now I dove back in with Beverly Hills. And it's just so good to be back. I was like, that's right. These are such good shows. Um, so yeah,
did you
no,
see any
it's
of Denise's
fun.
seasons?
No, so the good
Oh,
thing about now dating somebody who's a huge Housewives fan though is we would go for walks and he would catch me up on what I needed to know. So he told
amazing.
me all about what happened. And just based on from what I've heard, I would love for her to come back. I think that would be
Yeah,
fantastic.
same. I love Denise so much. When Rinna said I wouldn't be surprised if we never saw Denise Richards again, I felt that and it also hurt me because I was afraid afraid it was true, but these rumors, I'm like, please bring Denise back as a full cast member, please.
Well,
Yeah.
also, I think like Denise is like an actress. So I think there's something to be said about like when you're there and then you're not there and then you come back. Like, I think if they say to her, girl, you're coming back to be the villain now, just turn it on. I mean, she's been in Bond. Like, I think Denise could just play the part and people would be like,
Yeah.
who is this Denise? Because this is not the Denise we saw, the last time. I think it could be epic.
Can I
Mhm.
share my personal theory about Denise
Yes.
and Lisa on the show? So obviously Denise's last episode was that moment on the couch where she's with Lisa and Lisa says, "Oh, Denise, you're so angry right now." I think Rinna's intention was to kind of bring Denise in and be like, "Hey, it's kind of real, but also it's like a soap opera. I know we're both familiar with those. Like, so when I like pass you a thing, kind of like play that up and play it back with me." But I feel like Denise was so stuck on like, this is real, this is real, this is real. And then when it started to actually affect her personal life in a significant way with all of like the bisexual rumors, which like there are worse things you can be called. I think
Yeah.
that's what like turned her off from it. But I think I think you're right, David, if she can come back and kind of change that mentality of being like, this is for television, it's not 100% real, some of it is a performance, I think that would be incredible. But my dream is that we get Rinna, Denise, and my personal fave, Eileen Davidson, all back on one season, or just their own spin-off show, because those girls get it.
They get it. I mean, I've interviewed all of them. You actually think Rinna was basically, in other words, trying to like help Denise and set her up for some huge,
I do.
future on the show, and is like, girl, just wink, wink, just play into it, and you'll be here for years, and you can make $1 million
Yes.
too. Really? Okay.
And
Yeah,
I think
because
if
it
Denise
seemed
had received that, she would still be here today and she'd be a staple.
that makes sense. Because it does feel like Rinna is always sort of trying to like control the narrative in such a way where she has made a decision as to what's going to happen. She's like that improv partner that doesn't really yes and, but sort of like nudges you to the scene that they've already
Who already
prescribed.
has a plan.
She's like a wonderfully terrible improv person. And yeah, it just feels like if they would just roll with her sometimes, it would be great TV. Because I feel like what she has in her head is always wildly entertaining. Like,
The people who make it just get it. It's like this, no one wants to hear about your real life. Candace is an example. Candace gets it. She's
Yeah.
truly the MVP of Potomac. She just gets how it
yeah.
works. And then when they're not filming, she does get a little sloppy on social media, which we'll talk about because that's, what your whole podcast is more or less. But she still kind of gets it. Like, she doesn't go deep on social. She kind of, I mean, no one's paid more to stay up at night and get in these Twitter fights. I mean, she does, but some of these women get really dark on social, and it's like,
Yeah.
why? The check isn't more money just, because you're like up
Right.
at night in a Twitter war. I don't know.
Especially like when the kids get involved. It's like, no, come on. Like
yeah.
we want a clean fight that has low stakes. At least that's what I want.
Mhm.
Clean fight with low stakes. I mean, what is like, speaking of your podcast, what is like the hot, trends? Like, what are the stories this week on, or just in the past few weeks on social?
It's been a ton of Gwyneth Paltrow trial
It's
memes.
all the
We
Gwyneth
have yet to stop
Paltrow.
talking about it. Still obsessing to this day.
It's like every day it just gets better. You think it's going to end, and then it doesn't. It just keeps topping itself. She giggles more, or she wears an outfit just making a crystal. Just,
Are we losing you? We're not
oh
losing
no!
me.
Come into the light, Carol Ann.
And the ship is still
Oh no!
docked.
Did we lose me?
For
It's docked. I haven't even left.
For like a second, we lost you.
Okay, am I back?
Yes. Ish.
Ish. Oh
No,
no.
you're now you're back. No, but what is going on with the Gwyneth? Because I mean, I really don't dive into it, but I am obsessed with it, even though I don't stop to read. The little bit I read, like the latest thing, like I know the camera was in her face and they didn't like that. I know, I mean, I'm like very top level here because I just, I'm like, it's not Housewives. I got to go on. I got to work here. I know about the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, but I mean, I am obsessed, even though, and now what is this thing like her children now have testified or sent something in where they said, she did say this guy's an asshole, get off me or something like that?
Yes. So luckily our job is to do the deep diving into these topics, David.
Thank you.
So the full scoop is 2016, Gwyneth Paltrow was hit on a ski slope by a man. He fell on top of her. She said, ah, shit, get off of me. Or she said, you skied directly into my fucking back. And then she had to apologize for her language by repeating it in court. And
effing, as she put it.
yeah,
My
then
effing.
afterwards, everyone got
Mhm.
up, everyone dispersed, everyone moved on. Someone made a comment